Oh, that's painful.
Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning. So, first question, how do you take your pictures? Mostly.
Mostly with a camera.
Yeah, but what kind of camera? Do you have a real camera or?
Yeah, I do have a real camera, but it's kind of old. I have a Canon 60D. But I most of the time use my phone, of course.
That thing perfectly makes perfect pictures.
Yeah.
But it's I always think it's kind of a hassle to take that thing with you.
Yeah,
I
it's
never
quite
do
big.
that. Yeah.
No, and as well as on vacation, your phone is always with you, so then you need extra luggage for your camera.
Yeah, but always when I zoom in on my pictures on my phone, the quality is never that great as with a real camera.
No, true. That's true.
And that's also the reason why we will teach you to work with a real camera this block, because it is all about photography. A really fun block to do. So yeah, let's start immediately.
Yes, photography is a really fun block as well, because in our classes you get directly to work. We have a lot of new cameras, brand new cameras, which you can use.
The Canon 2000D.
Yes, and in every class before the Christmas break, we're actually going to practice, and there's also a bit of a game competition in there. But first, let's take a look at the student guide.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And then I need to switch to my other screen, this one.
So we made a perfect, beautiful new guide for you guys.
And it looks like this. Okay, so of course first you have the questions and an overview of the blog. So this will be the program that we have for you. So this is the live stream in week 1.
Yeah, in week 1 we start with composition and products. Then the week after we're going to work with portraits, and in the last week before or the last workshop week we have light and shutter speed. And as you can see in week 5, that's the week before the Christmas holiday. I think everyone decided in IC that we are going to do online lectures and classes, so you guys have time to get home safely before Christmas. So that's why we implemented an online Q&A if you have questions or you would like to have feedback on your pictures. And then after the Christmas holiday, you can just come to the Media Lab, and we probably have an extra session as well for editing your pictures. But we will see that when we.
Oh yeah, that could be in week 6.
Yeah, then. I think in week 6. Yes. Yeah.
Then you will also learn how to work with. Yeah, I think you should do that.
Yeah, because we will.
There is a second assignment, because next to the pictures that you're going to make, you will also make 3 memes. And these are the 8 steps that you need to take to make the memes. There's also a tutorial. So if you do that step by step, then you will end up with 3 of these pictures. These are made by last year's students. And it's a very fun exercise. You might ask yourself, why on earth do we need to make memes? Well, it's all about the Photoshop techniques that are behind them. These are the old style memes from a couple of years ago. And the nice thing is that you will learn how to cut out the picture with a nice Photoshop function for that, how to add new backgrounds by working in layers, just like in Illustrator, how to add text, how to add a border to your text. No, it's not a border.
Stroke.
A stroke.
Yeah.
Stroke. And how to export that to a picture.
Yes, and these are the old school memes from our time. But yeah, it's just a fun exercise, but it's also quite convenient because you will learn all the techniques you need to create other things as well.
Yeah.
So that's why we do this as a conditional assignment. So you're going to create 3 different memes. And it's quite easy, and it's also fun to work in a different program like Photoshop. It's a bit different than Illustrator, because in Illustrator you're working with pixels, and in Illustrator you'll work with vectors, so that's completely different.
Yeah, in Photoshop you work with pixels.
Yeah.
So that means that if you zoom in on this, and you can already see it, there's, my screen actually makes it a little bit better, but you can see all these pixels appearing over here. And in Illustrator, that's not the case, because then everything stays sharp. But I must explain that well, because it's not that when you place a picture in Illustrator that it stays sharp. It is with graphics like this, like the backgrounds. These will stay sharp in Illustrator, when made in Illustrator. But when you do this in Photoshop, you will see it appearing like this. So that's the difference between the two.
Yes. So just like the first block, you have your Word assignment as your conditional requirements, and now we have the memes. And then we also have, of course, the real assignment, which you will be graded upon. And that is, you're going to make a photo portfolio. And the photo portfolio contains 6 self-made photos, and it should be related to your project client, the subject. So you're going to make the photo portfolio for your client. And as you can see, we have some examples of photo techniques. And there's one rule that the photos should have like one overarching theme or subject. And it's explained in the student guide. I can't read it, but it's in the first line that it should be the same look and feel, right?
Yeah, it says here, one overarching look and feel or theme.
Yeah.
So you can see that the photos belong together. Well, what we mean by that is I can show you some examples on internet if we Google for, and not a thing. What was it called again?
Yeah, was it like an Instagram feed?
Yeah, Instagram feed or something like this. Oh, this is
like a collage.
Yeah, so there should be a term for that. But you can see that in this series, the colors match. In these series, also the colors match. Well, in this series, there's even the triplegram types. So every picture fits to the next one, and then they build up to one picture that's
cool.
That's actually one picture. So that's a lot of work to do. But for our assignment, it's no, I don't want this.
Your email is safe with me.
For our assignment, it's more about colors and the theme and the things that you see on there, because then it will be a nice package for your
clients.
For your clients.
Yeah.
Sorry for my English, it's early.
So 6 self-made photos, and of course we have a rubric for that as well, because in class we will teach you about composition, camera settings, and editing. So that should be visible in the end assignment you deliver to us as well.
Should we take a look at the grading now?
Yes.
Yeah, so these are the conditional requirements, as you can see. So at least 3 memes. Of course, you can make more. The fun thing is, if your memes are good, we will put them on the wall of fame again in the media lab, and so everyone can see them. Also, if they're bad. So it has some requirements for the memes that you can read over here. And then the requirements for the photo series that you're going to make. And then below that you will see what we will grade. So it's about composition, about the lighting, about the color use, and the camera settings. So these are things that we can see by looking at your photos, if you did that well.
Yes. Yeah, and the final deadline is the 20.
Yeah, the 20th of January.
Yeah.
I think we can explain these settings or the points that you get by taking a look at some examples in a while.
That's okay.
So we have some examples, and yeah, there's a
there
deadline, the Friday the 20th of January. So you have some time left. And that is the end of the guide.
Yes. So let's take a look at some examples.
Yeah, so you will have an idea of what you can expect this block.
Oh, should we first explain the Picture Perfect?
Yeah, Picture Perfect is actually a Dutch TV program that's running at this time as well. Yeah, it's called Het Perfecte Plaatje in het Nederlands, in Dutch. And it's a contest. And famous Dutch people are doing that contest, and they try to make the perfect picture. And then a jury will take a look at the picture and say, okay, this is something that you did really well, this is something that you did really bad. And then every episode there's a winner, and then at the end, I don't know, is there something they win? A camera or something like that?
And a trip sometimes.
Yeah, and they'll win like a spread in Discovery magazine or something with their photos.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a prize that you can win with us.
No.
With us, you have to do with boxes of dummies. But
Yeah.
dummies, everyone likes dummies. It's small Dutch candy, and I can show you how it looks like.
And so we're going to do this every class. So we have three competition. So one is about composition, one is about light, and the other one is about portrait, I think. Yeah. So we begin with explaining the assignment, with telling you something about the settings of the camera, just like in the programs and in the television series. And then in the end, or maybe next lesson, we're going to pick the best photo, and the best photo wins some Dutch dummies.
Yeah, and they
Dutch
look like
candy.
this. So it's a little box, and then there's 50. Well, there's an episode of Tools for Dummies in which I counted all the dummies. And there's actually more than 50 of those in a box. So
Win-win.
Yeah, win-win. I think it's 75, or it's really a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, once in your mouth, they fade away
All
like
melt
it's
together.
nothing.
So it's really fun just to come to class and join the competition, because you actually learn by doing. And yeah, this block is a really fun block because you can just try out photography. Yeah, and during those classes we already rented those cameras for you guys. So you just have to come to school, sit down, get the camera, take some good pictures, and maybe win a prize.
Shall we take a look then at the workshops? Because they look like this.
Yeah, because we created some exercise cards as well. One is about composition, and the other one is about, we also have one about landscape. You can all find them back in the student guide.
Oh, this one is in Dutch actually. This one is in English.
Yes, so you can bring your guinea pig to school and you can make a nice portrait.
Yeah, and the first one is about composition, so that's working. We will explain this in the lesson, so that means working with the grid. You can also activate the grid on your phone, and then you can make use of the lines, the horizontal lines and the vertical lines to place your objects on. And also you can work with the intersections if you have a smaller object like this bird over here. And then you can make a nice composition with that. And so the horizontal lines are for the horizon, and the vertical lines are for your objects.
Yes.
And so the steps explain how you can do that with the camera. Portrait is about depth of field, and that means that when you zoom in with your camera and then you focus on an object, you will see that you get a nice blurry background. And that's very nice for portrait pictures. So that's what we will teach you as well. And then nice for Christmas,
Yes.
drawing with light. And that's all about the shutter speed. That's the third thing that you can set up on your camera. It means that when you click with a classic photo camera, then you will hear a click. And that means that there's a little door that opens and it lets the light into your camera. And the longer it lets the light into your camera, of course, the brighter your picture gets, but also the more movement you will see in your picture. We can all imagine if you take a picture with your phone in darkness, then you sometimes will end up with a picture that's not sharp at all. Well, that means that the shutter was open for a long time. So the camera could actually see what will appear on your picture.
I once tried this with my phone and it actually works.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's really nice. Can you set up the shutter speed on your phone?
No. No, but it was dark and then the shutter is longer open and then so I just was just trying it out. Yeah, just lucky.
And then, okay, but the nice thing with a real camera is that you have control over how long the shutter stays open. And then you can make a nice picture by walking around or writing your name. And if you have a real long name, then of course you can increase the shutter speed and then it stays open longer. Well, this will all be explained in the lesson.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look at some examples of pictures that our own photographer Maurice made. So this is an example of working with composition, so using the lines to get your objects on. So we have a nice Porsche over here, and so 2/3 of the screen is filled with the sky, and 1/3 is filled with land. You can also see that you don't always necessarily have to have your horizon exactly on these lines. So you also have some creative freedom as a photographer. So if there's some nice sky and you want to have a little bit more of that, then of course you're free to do that. But we just want you to try to work with the lines, so you will get a hang of how that works with using the thirds in your composition. Because when you do that, you will always end up with a nice composition.
Yeah, and I think if you already install the grid on your phone, you actually are already going to make better pictures than before.
Yeah. So if you make use of the intersections and the lines, then exactly as Manu said, your pictures will already be better than before. You can also work without these lines. I don't think there's a grid for compositions like these.
No, I don't think so.
For centered compositions. But the nice thing is, search for an object that's symmetrical, and then make the picture also as symmetrical as you can. So make it exactly in the middle, and then you will end up with a picture like this. And you can cut it in half, and then the left and the right side are almost the same.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful picture.
Yeah, really lovely. Then there's something called the guiding lines. And it's actually part of making the composition, because you can search for lines in your picture. And that means maybe a road that leads somewhere, rows of street lanterns and buildings, and all the lines in the picture can lead up to somewhere. And well, this one leads up to this small hill. But it could also be that there was an object standing here, and then the lines draw your eyes to that object.
Like a bear.
Yeah.
Or a deer.
Polar bear.
Yeah, a polar bear.
This one is the same.
Yeah.
Well, this road leads up to the Milky Way. Beautiful picture.
Yeah.
If you make them like these, you will get a 10. Okay, next category, the portrait pictures.
Yeah.
So this is a good example. So portraits don't always have to be about people. They can also be about sheep.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Or other animals. And you can also immediately see what the effect is of working with the depth of field. So take some distance from your object, zoom in, and then focus on your object. In this particular picture is the sheep. Sheep. One sheep, two sheeps?
Yeah, the sheep.
It's the same word.
Oh.
To sheep or not to sheep?
and then you can see that the other sheep are out of focus, and it will give you a very nice, a feeling of depth.
And it also helps you to show the subject of your photo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I really like this picture.
Works with people as well. So they're nicely
in
full
focus.
screen, in focus on screen, and then the tree in the background is all blurry. And then the last category, movement. So working with the shutter speed. I took this out of my window, and in this picture you can see that all the cars are standing still. So it's like they're not moving.
You really freeze the moment.
Yeah, this was a frozen moment in time. And maybe in the picture you can already see that you see some noise in the picture, especially over here. And that means, that is because if you have a fast shutter speed, so the door opens a short time and it immediately closes again, then of course there's not that much light that came into the camera. So we need to have a high ISO, as it is called. So in the past you had these film rolls, film rolls, and then you had to put them into your camera. So, and I think a lot of young people are already going to that kind of photography again. So because all the film rolls are sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a hype at this moment.
And they're very expensive as well now.
Yeah, so it's an expensive hype, but it's very fun to try it out because these film rolls, they come in different kinds of ISOs. So you have them from ISO 100, so you can use your camera in daylight. You have them from for 400, so you can use the camera when it's cloudy. And I think there's also an 800 film, maybe?
800 for sure.
800, yeah. And then you can take your pictures with, dim light or maybe with some artificial lighting inside. But higher than that is only possible with new digital cameras. And then, you have to make, if you do it on film, then you of course have to increase the shutter speed again, or decrease the shutter speed so it will stay open longer. Then you will end up with pictures like these. And then you can see that I didn't have to use a high ISO because it's only at 100 over here, so that's the setting for daylight. But because the shutter speed was at 4 seconds, so the shutter stayed open for 4 seconds, there's no noise in the picture, but you have these moving cars.
Yeah, looks very cool.
And of course you have to use a tripod for this.
Yeah.
Because otherwise your picture will be blurry.
You can get up to 3200.
What?
ISO?
As a film roll?
Yeah, I just found it.
Whoa!
Didn't know that either.
I never saw a film roll of 3200 ISO.
Yeah, and this is really playing with light, and this is what you're going to do in class as well.
Yeah.
So it looks very cool, and you can do it with Christmas lights, you can do it with bike lights, you can do it with your phone, with a lantern on your phone.
My perfect drawing skills.
You can draw a Christmas tree with this, and then make a postcard of it, and send it to us.
Yeah. So, of course, we also made another tutorial for you guys, because these are just the basics. In class we're going to talk about it as well. But if you really want to know about the different settings of your camera, the shutter speed, the ISO and the aperture, you have to watch our beautiful tutorial about photography.
Yeah, that's even more comprehensive and more fun than this live stream.
Yes.
It's only 17 minutes, so you can easily do that in one of your breaks, and then you will get a nice overview of how photography works and all the techniques we explain as well. So there's some commercials over here. Oh no! this is
This is a different tutorial.
It's a different tutorial. It's this one.
Can you show Denny's screen? Yeah.
Yeah, so we have here, this is funny, Maurice is in the field. He's got struck by lightning.
We really had fun with this tutorial.
Yeah, and so then after that, I explain how to make the settings, how to work with the grid, how you can activate the grid on your camera, and then make some pictures I also explained how you can do that with your phone. And then Maurice takes over and he will explain how the technique behind the classic camera works. See, so there's some explanation of the shutter and then the different kinds of settings. So the working with the aperture, the movement and the ISO.
In the Media Lab.
Eh?
He's in the Media Lab.
Oh yeah, yeah. So this is a nice tutorial. You can also go back to this when working on your own.
Yeah, so this is
Final
really,
assignment.
really helpful, and we would recommend you guys to watch this before the first competition Picture Perfect, because then you already maybe have some extra knowledge than others.
Yeah.
So I would definitely watch this, because then you can get right to work and win Picture Perfect.
Yeah, and the other tutorial that's on there is how to make the meme. So if you search for that, you will get a commercial. And then we explain you step by step how to make the meme.
Yeah,
And
look at my face the entire time.
yeah, so we will explain you how to place pictures, how to cut out an object, how to remove the background, and then work with layers and add a new background, and of course make the text and give it a black stroke. And then you will already have a lot of basic techniques within Photoshop that you can also perfectly use for other things to make. So it's a good tutorial to start with.
Yes. Are there already any questions so far?
No questions? Okay. Well, I think this already makes up everything you need to know to start then.
Yeah, so please watch the tutorial before coming to class.
Yeah.
And have a lot of fun during those classes and work with each other, with your group mates, and yeah, make beautiful pictures.
We see you in class.
Bye-bye.